you? How are you doing? This is Candice, or Sister Minh Bao, with Happy Catastrophe, and I'm so happy you're here in my cabin tonight. So I'm voicing over because this evening was very, very hot, and I had the air conditioning going and the fan going, and it was super loud. So I am now later that night in my bedroom with the windows down. There's a cool breeze coming in, and the crickets are out, and you might even hear a fox in a little bit if you're lucky, because the foxes have been running around like crazy in the evenings outside my bedroom window. So what I'm working on here is a buddy color that I hadn't finished. It's one of the whips that you saw at the beginning of the month, and I'm going to finish it here with you tonight. And I decided to use the Distress crayons, Tim Holtz Distress crayons. You saw me show you the bottle of melts that was given to me as a gift in a recent video that I showed you. I tried it. I liked it, but I couldn't quite get the hang of it. I was moving the crayon around too much. As you can see here, it gives a really nice effect. I did end up going over it again with more crayon, and I used a blender tool rather than the melts. But I just wanted to see how the melts would work. And look at that. It's like painting. Like I put the pigment down. And here I'm trying it this way, but does it work better with putting the pigment on the brush? And I don't think so. Maybe in a pinch if you really needed a small area. But I liked it better putting the pigment on the paper and then using the melts to spread it out. So here, I think scorched timber or something like that. Hickory smoke. I think this is hickory smoke. And you know I love the Tim Holtz gel crayons. I've said before, if you've got King Arts, they're great too. I highly recommend the King Arts, the Tim Holtz if you want some unusual colors and a little bit higher quality. The gelatos are very nice. However, they're very expensive, and I don't think you need them. I think you can get almost the same finish with a King Arts gel stick, and they're going to be a lot cheaper. But here I'm showing you, I haven't yet figured out how to best clean the brush because the gel product kind of gets on everything. So at some point I'm lifting product off the paper and it's on my brush. So I'm going to have to practice more using melts with Tim Holtz gel crayons. I'd like to try it with other mediums, gel mediums like King Arts, like gelatos, and see how I like them. With oil pastels as well, I'd like to see how the melts works. And if it's too thick of a medium and it gums up too much, I mean, that's not what melts was made for. Melts was made to melt pencil work together, not something thick like gel. So I like the effect I'm getting with the smaller amount of pigment. When I put this heavy layer down on this left leg of his, I found I was just moving the pigment around. It wasn't smoothing out at all. And that's user error. That's not a problem of any of the mediums I'm using right now or the tools. That's just me not knowing what I'm doing. So I'm going to continue on with this hickory smoke. Pretty sure that's the color. I tend to grab my Tim Holtz gel crayons more than anything else, I think, because I have them all in one big tub. Where the King Arts, they're in their original packaging, which is like 6 different sets of, they come in a box, but you pull them out and there's like 6 sets. And you have to or 4, I can't remember how many are in there. I've got them close by too, but I have to open and close. I should just take them out and throw them all in a tub too. And then it would be easier to use them as well. So I probably will. I think the packaging that come in is so handy and packs away so well. I love it. But If it's impeding me getting it out and using it, then yeah, I just need a big bucket of them. Because I like to not think too much. I don't pick my colors out ahead of time usually, unless I'm doing some sort of ombre or blending. I was checking, realized I should probably check the back. And the only part that's ghosting is the part that's wet from the melts. Once it dries, you don't even see that. So that was pretty good. I was kind of worried it would come through with the blending agent. But I'm finishing up his legs. I have finished the bunnies and the trees and everything else. It's just Pan now that I'm working on. And I'm so excited to be getting through my mytho. This page is part of my, what did I call it? Mytho Marathon Madness. I have a bunch of mythographics and mythogorias, and I've got them lined up in the order I'm doing them. And I have finished. Was this the first one on the lineup, or there was one before this that I finished? So this was the next one I have to do. After this, I'm going to be working on the violin one, and I think that's out of aviary. I don't have my list right in front of me. But I have quite a few to get to work on. And I also received the brand new one, the brand new mythographic, Joseph Kattenbang's Alice in Wonderland. And I did a flip through of that. I need to do the voiceover, and I can publish that so you can see my reaction to it, because it was also on one of these loud nights when my air conditioning was just louder than my voice. And then, as soon as I get paid, I'm going to be getting the brand new Mythogoria that just came out, Cottage Gore. And it's Alessandra Fusi, I believe it is. I've heard it's really good, so I'm excited about that. We have so many coming out. I started to write down what all's coming out when in order, and I'm going to get that up in a graphic for you so that you can see it. We have 3 Mythogorias coming out and 2 mythographics. It's nutballs. It's just, and this is just before the end of the year, so it's going crazy. We have our first holiday-themed mythographic coming out. They've got Veronica Kalinska, who's one of my favorite mythographic artists and mythogoria, and she is doing a Christmas-themed mythographic. We have yet to have a seasonal-themed. I mean, we have wild summer and we have winter, but we don't have like a holiday-themed. This will be our first holiday-themed mythographic ever, and I'm so glad they got Veronica to do it because she's amazing. So here I'm getting fancy. I'm using a darker chocolatey brown. It's I can't remember. I probably showed it at some point. And it's one that I use a lot. I love this deep, rich brown. And I'm putting it on, as you see, by pulling the pigment off of the crayon with the melts. That's in this Copic. That's not, I probably should have said that. There's melts loaded. Now, see how gunky that's getting? I'm not sure that I should be using this with gel products. But I have melts loaded in this, and this was part of that gift with the melts, was an empty Copic marker and then little pipettes to pull the melts out and put it into the marker. It was such a thoughtful gift. Thank you so much, my sweet gift giver. I'm having so much fun with it. So I basically just wanted to do stripes. So that's one of the colors in his horns. So antlers? Horns. And so I'm going to let that dry. All right. Here are scorched timber. This is kind of a greenish brown. It's an interesting color. And I think I chose to do his dress. I don't know what that is. And I just put it on flat, and then when it dries a bit, I go back in and do some shading with the same color, but I don't think I show you that, but you will see it. Because I will cut away here and do some work on it, not on camera, because it's like watching paint dry. But you see here now, I'm laying it on thick. And if I remember right, this is when I switched to my... Nope, I'm going to still try that melts. But I think pretty quick I switched to the blending tool. I think I let this dry. Yeah, I'm just not crazy about the way I'm pushing it around. And I'm pretty sure that I'm using the wrong mediums together. So here I get my blender tool and look at that. Isn't that nice? Now, if you're interested in these tools, you can see one end's black. That's the foam end. That's fantastic. It's a bouncy, rubbery foam. The other end is a like felted wool, and I haven't found a use for it yet. So I only use the black ends, and I get them in different sizes, and I get them off Temu. I think you can use blending tool or blender for art or something like that to find them. They also have them on Amazon. And I think these days they're about the same price. Temu used to have them cheaper, but I think they're about the same now. So I decided that I really liked that thick... that's what I love about Tim Holtz. They're very opaque. And I really like that thick, opaque look. So I went back in with and this is me cleaning off some of that brown and cleaning off some of the gunk and trying to go in with a fairly clean. And if I really wanted to clean off good, like if I was going to a lighter color, I would use water because these are water soluble. So it's very easy to clean your tools with water. So I really liked the way this was coming along. It was kind of nice to go over the top of this now dried spread layer that was spread with melts because it kind of gave a texture to the top, like not one you could feel, but one you can see. It made it so it wasn't quite so smooth, and it looked a little bit more like fur, I think. Yeah, I really liked it. And I just love how well these smooth out with these tools. I mean, these tools are not super sturdy, but they're also dirt cheap, so I don't mind it when they break. I went through and tried probably 10 different blending tools of different things, and these were the best I found for gel crayons. I use these with my King Arts, I use it with gelatos, I use the same tool with all that stuff. Oil pastels, it works great with. So I'm using the tiny one for small spaces. I love that tiny one. The tiny ones break easy. Often that little cushiony, rubby thing, the tip there comes out. So I stick it back in and then I bite it to clamp it down real hard. But it will eventually wiggle out and I won't be able to get it back in. And then I'll just toss it because there's nothing you can do with them. But I do like the way it's looking. It's looking like fur. Now, I am not a clean colorist. I'm super messy. But these are water soluble. You can always clean them up. Plus, I know kind of where I'm going. So I know where I can make a mess that I'm just going to be able to color right over it. And I don't worry about a little bit of coloring outside the lines. I never could color in the lines as a kid. Never. Yeah, I like that. It's not going on as smooth as if I was putting it on just naked paper and not over the melts, but I like it like that. It does look like fur to me. Everything else on this page is done with Koh-i-Noor woodless colored pencils. Woodless pencils. I love those. They're very easy to blend. They're very easy to use. And I think the only reason I did the entire page in that is that I had forgotten my markers and I had brought this book to work one day and all I had were those Koh-i-Noors, so I just went for it. That happened to me today at work. I forgot my markers again today. And I'm working in Dark Fairies by Talbreath. Is that what her name is? I'm so far behind. I'm in a group that works at a Dark Fairies, and I haven't completed a page in forever. So I picked one of my whips out of there and took it to work, forgot the markers, but I had those mechanical 4 Candice pencils that were also given to me in the same gift haul. And so I use them, and oh my gosh, they blend so well. It's easy peasy. I've almost, I mean, it's not as fast as alcohol markers, no. And I'm not going to do this again. I'm not going to do a whole page in pencil again, but it went pretty fast for pencil. So I got the main character almost done. And that's the main part of the page. So the rest is just flowers around him. So I'll probably remember my markers tomorrow so I can finish that page. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit out of camera there. I had zoomed in so you could see what I was doing, and then I just kept going down his legs because it was going so fast. There you go. So see, that's turned out really well. So I'm going to continue and do the rest of him in the Tim Holtz gel crayons with my blender tool, because I like that. I was using that better than the melts, but these are the two things that I used. All right. Okay, I'm finishing this up, and I just wanted to show you what I started doing. You can layer your gel crayons. So I'm using the Tim Holtz Distress crayons. Yes, that's what I'm using. This is a light purple, and I thought it worked well with the other purples in the page. So I just put it in here. I just made like little spots of it, you know, really not anything very detailed or anything. Nothing, just slapped it on there. And then I'm using my finest blending tool. Again, these are from Temu. And the bottom layer is dry. So I let it dry first before doing this because I don't want to move that bottom gray. I just want to add some purple highlights, some lavender highlights to it. And if it gets too gunky, you need to dip it in some water and then wipe it off. And then unless you want to use it wet, you want to make sure it's pretty dry. And right now I'm using it dry. As you saw earlier, I tried melts, which is wonderful, but I was having a hard time controlling it. So I'm just using it dry now to smear things around. And just kind of put a purple sheen on top of that dark gray. It just seemed awful dark. You could do this in just, like if I'd been thinking, I would have done this just in a highlight areas, like maybe along here, maybe on the back of the calf, where light might be catching it, but I didn't. I just put like purple here and there in it. All right, it might be hard. Let me see. Let me move my big crayon box here. Okay. It's just got purple in it. And you can always let this dry and add more. What I also did was, and I feel like I do need to wipe this off. It's gotten a little gunky, so I'm just dipping it in some water over here. And I'm just cleaning it up. Just so that, you know, because this stuff is waxy and jelly, and it, you know, it gunks up things. What I did, you saw me put the silver pewter on, maybe. I might have done that off camera. I used the silver pewter color around his waist, but I kind of wanted to add some of this purple too. So I did that right in here and added some purple. That was nice. And then his skin is several colors. I wanted to make it very otherworldly. So kind of where the shadows would be, I'm using this purple. I've got a very light flesh tone in there that's kind of yellowish. I've got the pink from his hair is on him. And basically, this isn't real skin, so we can do whatever we want. And I put the purple where his, like, crusty crystal things that are growing on him. And I'm going to use a white, probably my Panda Fly, a white gel pen to add some highlights to those to make them really shine. But that's, if you're using gel crayons, it's not a controlled medium. It's very loose. It's almost like you can use it like you would paint, like watercolor paint. Just put the color where you want. I'm applying it this way by taking it off the tip and putting it down because I wanted more control. These are not sharp. And if you had some sort of sharpener, it wouldn't be worth it. You'd lose so much product. It's just easier to take your tool to them if you've got a really little spaces like this that I'm trying to add purple to. Just here and there. I think think I kind of want to put some of this on his eyeshadow. Yeah. See, and maybe some cheeks, maybe some cheeks. Give him some cheeks. Yeah, right here on his chin and maybe the sides of his nose. Maybe right on his nose, maybe right on his nose. I kind of like that. Yeah, he's starting to look like a fawn, isn't he? And then I use this really light, almost kind of a fluorescent pink for the top. And I think he's really looking good. In fact, I think he's done. I think he's done. Let's back, oh, I almost tried to cap my blending tool. Let's cap this. I'm going to roll it back in and put it away. Let's take and clean my tool while I'm thinking about it. It's always easier to do it now than later when things are dried and crusty on it. Okay. And let's back out and look at this. Now, I know you bounced around a bit there. I'm just really, this is how I work. I work really chaotic. And things just kind of move all around and go crazy. Yeah, I like this. Oh, he's got a bone pipe. Okay. I will do his bone pipe and then some. This still needs to dry for me to be able to do anything on top of it. Put some white highlights in. I might use for the bone pipe. It's so tiny. I think I'll get pencils for that. Some very sharp pencils because it's so tiny. And yeah, we have a nice shiny page. I'm so excited about this pan figure. I'm so glad it finished. I'm so glad how it turned out. I think it turned out fine. And yeah, I love it. All right. What else am I going to do tonight? Let me go see. Okay, I'm just finishing up dinner, but I wanted to pop on and show you this. I love this book. This was a gift, right? Right. Yes, Hannah, my friend at Hannah Art Adventures. This is her channel here. And I absolutely love this little book. I've done a few pages in it. And I had a buddy in this eons ago. I can't even find the chat about it. So, if you're my buddy for this, would you reach out and let me know? Because I'm finishing it up tonight, finally. So, we were doing this raccoon, and I was practicing with this neon technique that I had seen on Instagram. It took a long time. I had to really go over some of these to make them, I don't know. It wasn't a good time because I was using gel pens instead of I don't know. I can't even remember the technique. Did they use? No, they must have used gel pens too to go around alcohol markers. Now I think the black is. Yeah, the black is alcohol. The pink is alcohol, at least in some of them. Only in this one. No, it looks like yes. And then I experimented with different ways of doing it and different orders of doing it. I think I finally got one that was working for me, but I don't even remember at this point. And then I made the bees sparkly. And I was having a good time, but I didn't have the panda done. And since I was sitting here and I had my Tim Holtz gel crayons out, I thought, well, I remember them working really well in this paper, on this Amazon paper, and they do. So I did this in Hickory Smoke, I think. And no, this is Hickory Smoke. I don't remember what color that is. And then I was doing the panda, and you can see it can be you can blend it out to make it, very, it's dry now, but you can blend it out to make it kind of just sort of go off like the way I can never get to pencils to do, and a lot of you can. These are my cheater pencils because it almost looks like pencil work. But I'm not even really sure how the stripes go on a raccoon. But I do know that I had already done these. Was that alcohol marker? Yes, I'd already done these in alcohol marker. So I did his tummy and around the eyes in Hickory Smoke. That's this here. And now I want to do the stripes in his tail with black soot. Now, I was not careful at all because I knew I was going to go black into these. Now, if I was going to make these white stripes, I would have been a lot more careful. But I do need to be more careful now that I'm... I might have to take it off. That's too small for this thing. Now that I'm putting black down, because you can't really go over, you can't really fix it. You can't make it lighter. So I'm being really careful in the stripes now so that they definitely look like stripes. And I just thought I'd continue showing you how I use gel crayons. Make a little shadow. See how I'm making a shadow for his tail? That's what I would do if I was using alcohol markers, which I was planning originally. But I had these out, and you're over tonight at the cabin, so I thought, how fun would it be just to continue with the same medium on different paper and a totally different page. So this is completely different. Almost as opposite of a mythographic as you can get. One of these fun, cute and cozy books. I love this one. Little Nook. I like all of their stuff. They were one of the first, right after Coco Wyo started this trend. They were on it quite soon, quite early in the trend. And I just think they're fantastic. Okay. I think I'm going to put some shadow on his little hammock here too, where the tail. There we go. Okay. So now, where else should be black? Oh yeah, I was going to do his ears black. The fastest way is to apply it directly like this. But sometimes you can't get close enough to the edges with enough product, and then you have to go in with a little tool like this. Now this end is felted cotton or something, felted wool. It's very scratchy. The only time I've ever used it is to try to pull color off, like right there. Try to pull it off, but it's too scratchy to use for art. For blending. I don't know what it's supposed to be used. There's probably a really good use for it. Okay, I did remember I wanted to give him I'm trying to give, not make him just all black. So I put black around his eyes because, they have masks. So I'm aware that black on a raccoon goes there. I should know more. I see him all the time. But their stripes are not any more familiar to me than on how they go and which way they go than a tiger's. And I don't see tigers ever. I see these guys all the time, and I don't know. I don't pay attention, I guess. I like the way that shading is right there. So I'm giving him a little more shading on this side. Okay. I'm going to try to blend it. Now, if you're blending, it probably would have been better if I did this when the gray was still wet, so I could blend them in together. As it is, because the gray is dry, my black is going on top of it rather than blending. So we have to be a little bit more creative to get them to come together in a meaningful way and not just look like this is where the gray ends and this is where the black starts. But what we can do, put more gray in, right? Who says we can't? We can. We totally can. Like I always say, if you're in an ugly, weird space, it's not ruined. It's just not finished. You can always do more to bring out some sparkle or to make it more yours and something you really enjoy. That's kind of fun. Now, as you'll see, there are shiny spots on, you can kind of see my brush strokes. That often means that I've got too much product on here, touching the product on here, and it's just smearing it. So what I have is a scratch piece of paper, and I just kind of rub some of the product off like that. And then come back in, and that should get rid of those weird shiny brush marks. They also will dry and won't be near as noticeable. I feel like he needs to have some black down in here. You know, and I'm going to have to use my smaller one, which I remember it was a little gunky too when I laid it down. Good night, Jack. He's like, I thought you were going to eat dinner and come to bed. He came out when I started talking, but he really wants to go to bed. We were active today outside. Most of you know that I do have long COVID and I struggle with extreme fatigue, but I'll have you know, I haven't said anything because I wanted to make sure. It's been 6 years, but I'm starting to get better. I'm so excited. I think it's you guys. But it's been 6 years, and the doctor said if you don't see improvement by 5 or 6 years, then you don't ever see improvement. That's kind of how it's going these days. That's the latest research. And it's been, it'll be 6 years this fall, so it's 5.5 years, and I am seeing a difference. I'm feeling better. I think maybe you can hear it even in my voice. I have more energy. It doesn't mean I don't have exhausted days. I do. I have days where I sleep all day still. But not like I used to. And when I'm up, I'm really up. I'm like getting outside. It's so exciting. All right. What happens? What happens here? I feel like just making him more gray with some black here and there. I mean, I don't know. I'm not very imaginative with my animal colorings. I don't know what I'm planning on doing with his feet and around his eye. Oh, I think I was going to do around his eyes black, but then you won't. I don't know. Figure it out when we get there. Okay, let's get this. Oh, I like that gray all on his body too. I was worried he wouldn't look much like he is starting to look more like a koala bear than a raccoon. But, do they have stripes on their body? I think they just sort of have little spots of different color, right? Kind of like that. They just kind of have tufts of black. I mean, they're not solid gray. So maybe we'll just make them a little more mottled. I don't know. Will that do anything? Really, the black should go, Candice, where there's shading. Do you not know that by now? Nope. And it's getting a little bit too much product on the page. I'll probably have to let this dry. If you get too much wet stuff, they just all start moving around, and you need to let it dry before you add more, which is the bane of my existence. I do hate to let things dry. All right, let's let this sit for a bit because I'm still not sure what to do with that, but I do know what I want to do with the sky. So I'm going to clean off. I have a feeling we're going to mostly just be using this one. That's a kitchen towel. That's what I'm using for my dinner. This. Oh, I ruined more kitchen towels doing that. Just grabbing whatever's, because I'm not paying attention because I'm so into my coloring and not grabbing one of my rags. These are all clean. They're just stained. I always have half my laundry is these rags. Okay. I want to do Villainous Potion. I don't get a chance to use this color enough. This color is a gorgeous, deep, dark purple. If you're used to Ranger's products, you know this color. It's a gorgeous purple. Oops. Okay. Already. Yep. Okay, but now I'm in a bigger spot. I'm going to have to take it off the end to get into these little spots. Okay. See, you can also do some really neat shading with this. I don't have to make it just solid. Probably will, though, because that's how I like my backgrounds. It's just completely solid. See, Now, if I'd been thinking, this would have been great to have done this first. And then all that gel crayon that's around, giving this the glowy look, would just go on top of it once it was dry. But I didn't think about that. This page has been just a bunch of errors. And at one time, I never do this. I actually thought about not finishing it. I never do that. I always finish my pages. I mean, eventually. I never intentionally not finish them because you can always do more. But I was just getting tired of screwing up this page, and I just kept screwing it up, screwing it up, screwing it up. I just kept trying out things that weren't working for me. But that just means I need to try more things, I guess. And then eventually something will work. The mediums just get more and more opaque as you have to cover things up. See, I just covered up my neon right there. Nope, it doesn't work very well. Okay, it's a dark night. Things don't glow in a dark night. I just need to be careful. Maybe I don't have to get that close to it because they're glowy, right? They can have kind of a white halo around them. I could get close enough. I mean, lots of people do and make it very neat. It's just, that's not how I whirl. I'm a messy colorist. You want to see someone who makes things neat and perfect, you need to watch Coloring with Kay or J.I. Colorist. J.I. Colorist she can make backgrounds look like she did do them first when she didn't. She can get so close to the line without going over lines, and her colorings are always so neat and beautiful, just like her. She's neat and beautiful. And then Coloring with Kay is a complete perfectionist. She is hard on herself, but she is magnificent. You know, she's the reason I got into adult coloring. I stumbled upon one of her videos one time and I was like, whoa, you can make a picture look like that? And I was hooked. I had never tried some of the techniques that she does. So she was my first mentor. Don't know if she knows that. And the supreme enabler, because she enabled me to actually start this hobby back up again. So thank you, Kay. My wallet hates you, but I love you. All right. I didn't have internet for a week, and because there was an outage, and then mine never came back for some reason, and I had to wait for a tech, and it's been a complete and effing nightmare. And my mom was so concerned about this channel. She says, how are you doing your Buddhist things? I said, my Buddhist things? You know, I can meditate without internet. She's like, no, that's not what I meant. I said, my YouTube? Because Mom sometimes forgets her words. And she said, yes, with your your friends that color. I said, it's like, you know, I can still film and get it into my editing software. And then I just have to kind of wait until I get to work to finish editing and get it on the web. But that's pretty normal. So, okay. She was very concerned about all of you. And about me not getting videos out. Like, no, it's usually not the internet's problem, but I could get definitely a lot more videos out if I had internet that was capable of uploading. But I talked to the tech guy that came out, and he said, he actually works for that company, and he said that service, oh, look at that, look how messy that is. Son of a gun. He actually said that they have a very hard time servicing this area. So I asked him what he would recommend, because, you know, and as an employee of the company that I have currently, he suggested Starlink, and I knew he would. Pretty much everybody out here in the woods has Starlink. I just don't want to give any money to that crazy pants and support the environmental damage that all of those launches are having. I just found out about that. That every time they launch something, the pieces drop on this natural preserve that's nearby, and it's causing a disruption in the egg-laying cycle and all kinds of stuff of endangered birds. And even if he wasn't crazy, I don't want to support that. But I may have to. I may have no other choice. And my beloved, my former beloved, who has a place for me in Mexico when I feel like I want to retire and want to just go live out my days as a happy old nun in the sun, which would mean actually inside in the air conditioning. He's the biggest political left-wing, pretty much socialist type guy you can imagine. And he's even got Starlink. He's like, there's no other choice in Baja. He's out in the middle. He's in the middle of nowhere. So, yeah. Maybe I just do have to support the overlords in a few ways and just get me some decent internet. Made it this long without a microwave. I'm known for my protests that nobody knows about or cares about. I actually had a teacher in school. It was someone who wanted to use, it was out of school, not too long out of school. And I hadn't taken the national test to get certified as an interpreter because it was and is still so subjective. People pass that shouldn't pass, and people don't pass that should. I'm looking for an eraser. What my friends across the pond call a rubber, and makes me giggle every time. Oh, there's one. But I wouldn't get that certification because I didn't agree with the way it was being done. But you basically have to have the certification to get work. They were just letting me get away with it for a bit. Finally, the main company that was hiring me, I was a freelancer at the time, said, Candice, nobody cares about your protest. Actually, he says, nobody cares about your damn protest. Go get your test. So I did. I passed it, but I had really dear friends that didn't, that were great interpreters. Okay, enough blather. So that's how it looked like to you guys. Oh, I like it. It's a pretty purple, and I think we've got a nice even blend. I really do. Well, it's already starting to dry. See, Tim Holtz gel crayons, they do dry fairly fast, but they dry really fast on this extremely porous paper. They don't go through. And like this is still a little bit wet, but this is all dry. So yeah, okay. So I'm liking that. I like that a lot. Okay, so now, yikadoodles, what am I going to do? What about just a lighter gray? Like lighter than hickory smoke. Like what else do we have in here? Make sure not to grab the silver because I've done that a few times. What's this? Oh, I love this color, but it is a shiny color. This is a gorgeous color. We'll use this in another page. What's this color? What are these two colors? Pumice Stone. Lost Shadow. Okay, Candice, swatch. When in doubt, swatch. I actually have all these in my swatch book. My swatch book is completely buried right now. That's pretty. That's pretty. Okay. I think this is a warmer color. Ooh, that's too dark. That's too dark and too brown. Whoa, good thing we did. Wait, is this? No, it's not shimmery. It's just, I don't think it is. This way his little eyes will show. All right, did I get this clean enough? No. Did I clean it at all? Do you remember? I don't remember if I did. It's still got lots of purple on it. If I did clean it, I did a lousy job. Let's find a white spot here. Yeah, look at that. That's not good. That would have sucked if I had that would have been another piece I would have had to fix. I think we would have had to go to acrylic at that point. The last straw is always acrylic, but you can always put acrylic on top of acrylic, so you can keep on making mistakes. Or just, there's a little bit of purple on this still, but you probably can't see it in the camera, but I can, but it's kind of nice actually. And these are soluble, water soluble, so I could take a little bit of water and just go across his eye to make that black again, but it also leaves kind of a shadow around it. I'll just let it dry and then go over with the black pen because I really want his eyes to be crisp and black like they were before I put this gel product on top of it. So when it dries, and when the other one dries that we've been working on, I'll put some finishing touches to it too, and I'll show you both of them at the end of this video because we need to let them dry. Yeah, I like this. This is a pretty color. I gotta remember this color. Most of my gel crayons were given to me, and I know this one was. I know for sure I didn't buy this one on my own. They come in packs of 6, 8. Oh, goodness. I can't remember. And so you can't just buy a set. You have to buy them in packs, and it's annoying. But I've had many of you gift me packs, and I think I have the entire set now. I do have a friend that keeps finding these odd one-off sets that are just sparkly colors, and she sends them to me because I don't have those. I don't even know where to find out how many of those exist. I've never even. They're specialty. They're like released for a specific Christmas or a specific Halloween, and somehow she has tracked them down. And so a lot of my beautiful sparkly ones are from her. Okay. What does that look like to you guys? It's pretty good. See, it's real shiny. It's because it's not quite dried and soaked in. Yeah, you know what? For a page that I was never going to finish, I think that's all right. I think he's cute. I'm going to let him dry a bit and then see if I want to add more dark in here to kind of shade more. But I think that's perfectly fine for a coloring book. Yeah, he's pretty. Aw. Now, whoever's buddy I was doing this page with, please get hold of me. And I would love to put our 2 pages up on Instagram together. All right. While these dry, I would like to show you a clip of something I filmed yesterday. So, be right back. Inside the tack room of my parents' barn, and I just want to introduce you to Miss Kitty. Hi, Miss Kitty. Yeah. Miss Kitty's a very, very old kitty who came to us. Where's your comb? Is this it? Oh, yeah. Who just showed up one day. And she was super, super friendly, not feral at all. And they live on the top of a hill. You don't want to be combed, huh? They live on the top of a hill in the middle of nowhere out in the woods. And here comes this totally tame cat. So she's been here for a decade at least. She's very old. Oh, she's so soft, Miss Kitty. And they named her Miss Kitty because, that's my dad. And her hair is all sun bleached. But she's really a gray cat. Hi, baby. She's almost toothless. And she's a bazillion years old now by this point. And she recently disappeared. We thought she was gone. Cats up here live a pretty long life, even if they're barn cats. My folks have adopted several feral cats over the years when the shelter calls them, and they have feral cats. They've had 2 or 3 at a time here in the barn. But this one's not feral, but she never wanted to be a house cat, so she just lives outside. She has this wonderful tack room to go into to have her safe space Otherwise, this is a huge barn. Sorry, I'm trying to do this one-handed. And she goes out and goes up to the loft and sleeps in the hay and wanders around in the corral and just does her own thing. You don't want that, huh? But when she disappeared, we all were heartbroken. And then Green Eyes. And then Mom saw something moving out in a field from the house. She went out in the field and there was Miss Kitty. So Mom picked her up. Miss Kitty let her be picked up and brought her back in, overjoyed, and there's nothing wrong with her. We thought maybe she'd been picked up by a raptor and then dropped, but which happens a lot out here. But she has no injuries, and I felt her all over. There's not even scabs. We don't know where she disappeared to. Hi, baby. Oh, aren't you pretty? Aren't you pretty, girl? Yeah, aren't you pretty? So I just want to introduce you to another four-legged furry kid in the family, Miss Kitty, that lives in my parents' barn. Yes, and she has quite the Shangri-La here in the tack room. This is her favorite place to be. The other barn cats that she used to share time with have died off, and there are no other cats, so she's the only one. But she gets a lot of attention from humans because Mom's out here all the time, so is Dad. Oh, hi, sweetie. Oh, meow, meow. All righty. Bye, Miss Kitty. Did you like that? Isn't Miss Kitty sweet? We love her to pieces. I'm so glad she's safe. While that was uploading, I got to messing around in another whip in Color Me Capybaras, and I do buddies in this. There's no group that I'm in, but I do lots of buddies out of this, and I'm mostly with Veronica Dunn, so that might be who this one is with. I didn't double check. But I'm like, okay, well, this is completely different paper. This is Cider Mill Press, which has really pretty, on the thickish side, very smooth paper. So I just usually use alcohol markers. It's nice and smooth. The alcohol markers do soak in a bit. But I thought I had to do all this water, and I've been putting it off and putting it off. I'm like, what if I just grab a couple of colors of Tim Holtz, the gel sticks again, gel crayons, and just, I don't know, do stuff and see what happens. So I did. And oh my gosh, you guys, the gel crayons, and I imagine oil pastels, and I don't know. I know gel crayons. I know work great. Your King Arts would work great. This goes on like butter. I mean, serious butter. It really does feel like it's so smooth. And then when I go to blend it, whoops, not that end. It blends so well. Oh my gosh, it just blends like, I'm going to hit that little crook, some of this with the littler one, but I just wanted to show you how amazing this, I've never thought about using a gel crayon in this book. It's just, there's so many more, and the colors I'm using are chipped sapphire, and this ominous twilight, which is supposed to have a bit of a sheen to it, sparkly sheen. But wow, I'm having so much fun. And see, that's the thing about coloring. It needs to be fun. You're not just, excuse me, I think I have something crawling on me. You're not just coloring because, can you see that? You're not just coloring for an end result. I mean, we're not artists here. We're doing this. I mean, we are artists. We're all artists. But that's not what I meant to say. But we're not creating artwork that's going to span the centuries. We're coloring in books. And the whole, I've watched your coloring tag videos, and I've talked to you personally, and I would bet that most of you got into coloring for stress relief, to relieve anxiety, just something that is a creative outlet that allows you to function in this world without going into the screaming memes and running through the streets saying the sky is falling. This is what keeps most of us sane. And so that's why we color incessantly. At least that's why I do. But what if you could, what if it was this easy, like I'm showing you? What do they say? What do the influencers say? No jump cuts. And then they do jump cuts. I'll show you in real time. Well, I am really showing you in real time. Okay, I want to go in that beak. Jack totally thought I was heading to bed, and I was. But then I just had, I had a couple minutes while things were uploading, and I was like, while the stuff was uploading into my editing software, and, if you give me a couple of minutes, I'm going to color. I can't just sit here doing nothing. I got pictures to color, pages to do. This is really nice. I am loving the way this goes down. Does it look like water? No, I just wanted to play with these two colors. Sometimes my coloring choices are just colors that I want to use. My medium choices are always that. Wow, something did bite me. I couldn't tell you what works with what paper, because I just use what feels good, and sometimes I force it to work. Not always to the best results. Basically, I'm thinking I'll do something really light up here. I made this a moonless night. Although there are seabirds flying. Whatever. It's also a pirate capybara. I mean, this isn't supposed to be realistic. Come on. It's a capybara in a pirate outfit talking to a parrot with a treasure chest. We're not going for realism. It's magic. I know, Jack. I know, it's definitely past bedtime. He's so used to waiting for me here. He's so good. I might try to, after this all dries, doing some white bubbles or light blue just with a gel pen to see how it'll work. Sometimes gel pen works fine over gel crayons, and sometimes they get too gunked up and you have trouble. This is fun, huh? I highly recommend. A lot of you have this book. Use your gel mediums, whatever you have. Gelatos, King Arts. Oh, I've been talking to some folks online about the King Arts. I know I said this in a previous video. I'm going to say it again. The knockoff King Arts are not worth the money. People are getting them and finding many of them dried and crumbly. And some people get them and they're okay, but they've let them sit for a while and they've become dried and crumbly. The King Arts have never dried on me, and everybody who's been commenting said, yeah, same. And my King Arts are older. My gelatos are really old, and they're not dry and crumbly. So I think that's a ring, right? So it's not worth it. I have been tempted to get the budget brand gel sticks before, and I've like Orly, which is just hard wax. It's nothing. Or it's a Uli. It's Uli. It's even a knockoff brand of Orly. Yeah, stick to King Arts are not that expensive. I got mine used off of Vintage or something. So stick with King Arts if you're on a budget, especially. If you have all the money to spend in the world and the time to source it out, get these. Not that these are better than King Arts. These are, gel crayons that are water soluble. Jack, don't be silly. He's trying to scratch the back of his front leg with one of his back legs. So he's like, keep Key. Can you hear him with his nails? Oh my goodness, that's ridiculous. The difference between King Arts and these is mostly the color choices. Distress has, Tim Holtz has a really cool color line that he has created himself. So you're not going to find colors like these in the King Art line. So I have both, because actually on some paper the King Art does better than the gel, than the Tim Holtz. Or I just like having, you know, the wide variety of colors. I do like the King Arts better with water than I do the Tim Holtz than these. These with water are okay, but if I'm feeling like a water medium, I'll use the watercolor pigment sticks, I call them. He calls them watercolor pencils. Better. Those are better. The woodless ones that are just basically watercolor pigment in a stick form. Yeah, I'll use those over these. Those lay down really nice and react really well with water. These tend to spread out too much and get too thin with water. The King Arts are great with water, or even a damp one of these. I love my King Arts. And you can find them on sale because you can buy them on Amazon. You can wait for a sale if their price is too steep. Or look for them used. People sell them used all the time. I'm not sure why. Maybe just getting out of it or something. They do last a long time. You don't have to worry about them being dried out. Yeah, I'm going to go along here and get some white down tomorrow. I'll let this dry real good. Put some white. And then I'll wrap this up tomorrow. I understand you, unless you want to stay the night with me, you can stay here if you want to. I have spare room. But if you need to go home, I understand. I will just film tomorrow and show you how these pages ended up looking like finished. Won't that be fun? I'm not sure this one will be finished, but the other two will be completely finished with all their fun things, the extra pizzazz we all do at the end of a page. I don't know. Maybe I will finish this one. I have some things I have to do tomorrow with my mom, helping her get to a doctor's appointment. So I won't have a lot of time to color in the evening, though. Yep, I'm getting gel crayon on my fingers, and look. But I'll go over that with something that'll cover that up. Look at how fast that is. That was so fast. I was not looking forward to doing this ocean, because even with alcohol markers, it would have took a while, you know, to try to fight the streaking and make sure it all got down, you know. This way, there is no streaking. No streaking with gel products, especially once it dries. I feel like I did some mowing today, and I just feel like I have bugs all over me. I have taken a bath. Like immediately when I walk in the door, I take a bath because I feel itchy all over. I still feel itchy. Okay. All right, that's good for tonight. We'll let this dry, and I might put on another coat in some spots. But other than that, that's fun. I basically just wanted a dark background so that everything else will pop, and I think that's what I'm achieving. So far, this is great. Yeah. And so fast. I may try to finish all of it. Well, I'll probably do some of these things with gel pens or alcohol markers because they are so small. It's a little bit harder to do small spots with this, you know, just using your tool. It's a little bit longer than using something that just has a small enough brush and can fit in those areas. So I hope that you're enjoying this. I am going to check out and go to bed. If you have to go home, I understand. I'll see you in the morning, though, tomorrow, probably tomorrow night, when I have time to sit down again and show you the finished pages of the other two, and maybe something more. I think I might like to show you something more before we go. I'm having too much fun here at the Coloring in the Cabin. This is my favorite video to make. Alrighty then. I hope you have a good night, and I'll see you in just a few seconds. Okay, so it's the next evening, and I hope you had a great night's sleep and a very peaceful day today. I'm home from work, and I finished all 3 pages. Let me show you. Okay, you saw this one. This was the Cozy Woodland Nooks. Cozy Woodland Nooks. Yes, this is the Simply Whimsical Coloring by Little Nook. Obviously, I'm a little tired. And we saw what I did with Mr. Raccoon just to finally finish this page. And now I'm going to spray it and fix it and put it on the pile to show in a future finished pages video. Then we did Fairy Wonderland, didn't we? And we finished this. Isn't that lovely? Hi, Jack. Yeah, Jack's already gone to bed. I told him I had a little bit more filming to do. He's just sat out here and kept me company while I colored. I really liked how this turned out. The only thing I did after I parted with you last night was I went over the black lines on him with the same silver and that I used around the bunnies, also in his hair. I just felt like the black was a little too dark, and I really like the shiny silver on top of the other shiny gel crayons. So I think that turned out really well, and I'm excited to send this to my buddy. And then the biggest surprise is I finished the capybara one. I know Veronica Dunn will be so surprised. Look at it. I just went ahead and continued on with those gel crayons. I switched to alcohol markers for his clothing, and then although that actually might be gel crayon too. No, I think I switched. I did his clothing, and then I was like, you know what? I'm having more fun using the gel crayons on this page, so I went back to gel crayons. For the water, I did take some the color Picket Fence, which is Tim Holtz's white, and I did put it in stripes as well to try to give it kind of like where the two dark colors met, to try to kind of smooth it out and give a little mistier look. And then this is my Panda Fly white pen, and it worked perfectly on top of the gel crayons as soon as they were dried. When they dried, it worked great. And I started doing it back in here, but I didn't like it, so I stopped. The boat was also done in alcohol marker, I believe. Yeah, I did the boat and his clothing in alcohol marker. And the boat, and then I used some Panda Fly to try to I don't know what I was doing there. And then I had some black glaze pens in the portholes of the boat and on his eyes. And then I just went to town with gel crayons. All this is gel crayons. I really, really loved how the bird turned out. And the fur, this is my favorite capybara so far. Out of all the ones I've done in here, I am now going to use gel crayons for them. It blended so nicely and made it look so good, gave it so much personality. I absolutely just love the gel crayons in this book. So if you've got, like I said, King Art or your Tim Holtz or an oil pastel, try them. Try them in here. This went so fast. I can't even tell you how fast all this went with just the gel crayons and my blender things. I probably did all this in the time it took me to do these trees and that background. Yeah, there's no way, because that was alcohol markers. So, and that was done. And then gel pens and blending. There was a lot of that going on. It's so much easier to, you know, use your tool and just blend away. I think it turned out really great. For the clouds, I started doing them. This darker pink here is actually alcohol markers. I started doing an alcohol markers, and I'm like, well, why don't I just use gel crayons too? So then I did gel crayons in the middle with a shiny salmon, and then I went around the outside with Panda Fly again. Yeah, I like the way this turned out. It's got just enough shine and just enough matte. And this is my favorite page so far that I've done in this book. So I think I'm going to continue on using the Tim Holtz gel crayons in this because I sure do like it. It turned out really nice and it was so fast. I'll get done with these pages much faster. So I'm leaving this open tonight to dry, and then I'll fix it tomorrow and put that in my finished pages pile. So how about that? We did 3 pages and we got to play with our gel crayons, and that was a blast. I am so glad you came over tonight and last night to my cabin. Thank you so much, and I hope all is well with you. Remember, I love you. Bye-bye.